Hello and welcome back to the Renewables Podcast. We're going to go back to solar and storage live from the show in just a minute, but right at the very start, I just want to say if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. We can see that most people are not subscribers who are watching us, and it makes a massive difference in trying to grow and share this further and further as time moves on. So we'd really appreciate it if you just drop down below and click subscribe and enjoy the rest of this episode. Primarily, this is all Sam's hard work. He was at the whole event, I think, for the 3 days, and he put a lot of time and effort into speaking to as many people as possible, getting some really interesting conversations. I was only there for an afternoon, and I got sort of distracted by the beast that is solar and storage. It is absolutely huge. I did manage to get a few little interviews in there, and there's one in this episode from Star Chargers that I found really, really interesting. We're going to have a little word about our sponsors before we jump out to site, and Sam takes us forward from there. So without further ado, let's get on with the programme. Just to interject today's show, we want to speak to you about another awesome product from Proteus, and that is the Type B RCBO that they've just brought out, Sam. We saw that in person on the podcast we did with Proteus, and again, it's helping us as installers, isn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable how they have managed to engineer it to fit it all within a single module. I remember fitting the ones that are about 3 or 4 modules wide. How they've managed to engineer that into one module is an absolute... I don't know how they've done it, but it's fantastic that they have.
They have, and it's bi-directional as well. So again, thinking of us as installers for those PV and EV systems. And that is why we are so proud and honoured to be sponsored by Proteus on the Renewables Podcast. But let's get back to the show.
Okay, let's have a look then. A little bit of a walk around. See who else we can see. There's so much choice here. And the thing with this show is you're walking around and you kind of forget that there's a whole other side of it, another wing of it. You kind of think, oh yeah, I've been down here. And then you go, oh, actually, I've not been in that whole other room. It's absolutely huge. So I'll look around. Let's have a look. Oh, let's pop in. Okay, so I ventured over to Waxman Energy, and we've got podcast superstar now, Sarah Wallace, back on the Renewables Podcast. If you haven't seen her episode already, we went into a real deep dive about everything wholesaler based and the struggles that wholesalers face on just trying to deliver the product to us as installers. And it's not as easy as what we think as installers, is it, Sarah? But
No, very much of a headache.
So if you haven't seen that episode, then that is on YouTube, it's on Spotify and everywhere else. So we're on the Waxman stand, we've got some panels behind us, we've just been trying to get the Waxman sign in, but we'd have to go down like this.
Too small.
So we're going to just stick with the panels for now. But yeah, Sarah, so something little happened yesterday, didn't it?
Just a little bit. So yesterday we actually won Distributor of the Year for 2024. 4th year as a finalist, and finally won the award this year. So really, really proud of the team. It's been a super challenging year for everybody. So to finish with this accolade it's really positive for us. I'm really pleased.
So to break down that award from memory, there's been a few drinks that we had last night, so we're both a little bit woolly-headed, but to win that award, it was all about service, it was about training and everything else that you provide?
Yeah, so product range, training, customer service and design and technical service. So a submission was put in, we were nominated, and then it goes to judges panel, and we won based on what we offer as a distributor. So we're not a sort of bog standard wholesaler, we are a distribution partner with a wide range of USPs that add value to installers that we work with, their business.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing. Us as installers, and we went into this a little bit on your episode, Sarah, but a lot of this is we as installers feel like everyone's just got a massive shed and everyone just keeps those stock in there, and some are cheaper than others, and that's kind of it. But I know you're releasing a design platform and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, so we are actually showcasing the design software today. So it's a turnkey solution for installers to run the design. So it does a mounting design, it does the schematics for the inverters, it does the performance and the yield, but it also acts as a personable sort of CRM system for the installer. So you can input your overheads, you can input your markup on product, you can input the end client's usage, their energy costs, and you can create the whole return of investment plan for your end client, create it onto a PDF with your logo and send it. So it's every stage all rolled into one platform.
Yeah, it's amazing now. kind of all distributors are having to look at more and more of these sorts of things to just help installers and add value to their service, because it is a competitive market, isn't it? I think people think wholesalers make a lot of money, and I'm sure if you sell a huge amount of kit, there might be a chance of that, but the margins are quite tight, like we discussed on the full episode that we did with you, Sarah. So we won't go all the way back into that, but yeah, we had a very interesting night last night, didn't we?
We did.
It was good.
There
was a few baby
shots.
Guinness, and there was some
shots
good
flying
stuff.
about. But it was real good. It was a great way to finish the evening. It's a great evening at the award ceremony. Some fantastic companies there, and just for people to get recognition to services in the industry. I think it's just really nice. Really nice. It's not always all fluffy and lovely and award ceremonies. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears goes into this industry, and it's just nice to have the recognition at the end of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very well deserved for Waxman. I can see, and after private conversations with you, Sarah, and others, it's like a lot of money goes into even just putting these stands up and things, and actually being present at this.
Yeah, it's not cheap. It really isn't cheap, and you sort of toy between. Does it pay for itself to come to these events? And it's really hard to manage that, but we've had a fantastic couple of days. It's great to put faces to emails and faces to voices. We've got some fantastic leads from the show, but it's good to be able to showcase our new design software and show installers that we're all about making things easier. So for every business to function better, to run better, to streamline every process that you've got. And then, we want you to install that equipment correctly, we want you to sell it correctly, install it correctly, get in, turn around, get out, make your money.
That's it.
We all get out of bed in the morning and we want to go to work and we want to earn a wage. We don't get out and think, I'm going to go free of charge today. So, it's all about
there's
making
definitely a few of those days where it ends up feeling like that.
Yeah.
But no, it's really good. And thanks very much for that, Sarah.
Thanks, Sam.
I'll have a little run around now and just show you what they've got on offer here on the stand. But podcast superstar, Sarah Wallace there.
Thanks, Sam.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
So this is on the Waxman stand. So that was the sign that we're trying to get in, but vertically challenged, unfortunately, is our Sarah. So we couldn't hit that. So we've got some of the panels on there that they're stocking. It's got a big 460 there, all black. They've got the Alpha ESS offering, so a great place to get the Alpha equipment. We did an interview with Alpha about that as well. So this is a little rundown as to the new design software system, so you can design all your job on that, and like Sarah was saying, it can create a bill of materials and kind of act as a CRM as well. We'll run around, see what else we can see here. So we've got a big Sungrow inverter there, and a smaller domestic one with battery storage as well. Like I say, if you're not already watching this, then it might be decent to watch this just to get a bit more of an idea as to what they offer. Some bird blocker there. And then we've got the Solax products here as well, 3-phase, single-phase, EV chargers. Yeah, great place to check out if you're looking for a wholesaler. Hi everybody, right, so I've ventured over to Solarport now, which have a really interesting stand, which we're going to go over and have a look at in close detail. But I'm joined by Alice. So Alice, introduce yourself to everybody watching and listening here. What's your role at Solarport?
Hi, so I'm Alice. I'm in technical sales at Solarport. I work on the utility scale projects. So at Solarport we have utility scale as well as commercial and residential. We have a modular system for the slightly smaller systems, so you can go anywhere from 4 panels to about 1 megawatt. And then we work on the bigger sites as well, like I said, utility scale. So our biggest one this year is 81 megawatts.
Wow.
And we're hoping only to get bigger from here. Yeah,
it's great. I mean, for my installation business, I've seen so many more people looking at getting like a ground mounted system. Obviously, as panels get bigger in dimensions, and obviously roofs are pretty much staying the same.
Yeah, exactly.
It's looking at maybe down the bottom of the garden. Some people don't like the look of them, but still want to get the benefits of solar PV and everything like that. So actually, a ground mounted system tucked away down the garden, if you're lucky enough to have a decent sized garden, is a really good option. So there's a couple of things that I want to have a little chat to you about on the stand, which I think are really interesting. So let's have a little wander around, and we'll spin the camera around and see what we can see.
Sounds good.
Right, so me and Alice have just headed over to the ground mount mock-up that they've got here. So we'll have a little look around this, and we're going to start having a look at how this is kind of fixed to the ground. So if I come side on, just there then. So Alice, do you want to take us through a little bit on how this is put together?
So this is our driven pile system. So this pile will be embedded about 1.5 metres. It can be more depending on the site.
Yeah.
So this will be driven into the ground by a piling rig, and then you'll fix the rest of the mounting system on top.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
There we go.
Yeah. So this is a double stacked one here. Then.
Yes,
So,
so
you've got
this is a 2 import tray system. In our modular systems, we also have a 1 import tray that's available, and then on the utility scale, we go through 3 import tray as well.
All right. Okay. So it's portrait that they go on. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And so there's multiple different fixing points here. And I'm assuming that's for different size panels and things like that from the look of it. So that just gets bolted in, just there. Okay. Cool.
You have the different kinds of piled as well, so you can use driven pile. We've also got a concrete pile system.
Okay.
So that would just be augering a metre hole, and then you fill that with postcrete, so about 4 packs of postcrete per pile.
Ah, okay, so that might be if you have not got the depth to go down, if it's really rocky substrate or something and you can't pile it down.
Yeah.
Basically digging a metre hole, setting the post in and then postcreting it in, and then working from that thing. So do Solarport provide any kind of like designs or anything like that, or
Yes,
how does it all work on that side?
So we, the customer normally provides us with their layout, their panel specification, the tilt angle of the system, and then the foundation they want.
Yeah.
And then our designers have a look at the system, and they give us a design from that as well as the drawing.
Yeah, okay. No, I think that's, for installers, that's kind of one of the worrying things around doing ground mounts is the whole design. Because obviously, for us as installers that are doing a lot of domestic anyway, it's you look at someone's roof and you kind of know the process of finding the rafter, putting your hook in place, putting your rail on top of that. When you get into ground mount, you're kind of thinking, well, if these aren't spaced correctly, I'm going to, ruin the whole system, and I'm going to have to redig it out and everything. So I think providing that support is really good for installers, just to take that kind of stress away of having to do that whole design yourself.
We also really pride ourselves the whole way through the process. We're there on the end of the phone to be able to help if anybody's got any questions.
Yeah.
We've been known to have like FaceTime calls with people whilst they're on site to see if they've got any issues.
You're sitting on the sheep as well. There we are. Yeah, no, that's good, and I think that is a real. Because obviously, I'm sure there'll be cheaper brands on the market, but the amount of technical support that these companies. That's what defines different companies from other companies on the market, and we see that across panels, we see that across inverters, batteries, every part of this industry. And this looks like a really good quality. And I really like these little end caps as well.
The little end caps, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, and the other thing about Solarport is that we're UK based, so a lot of ground mounted systems are European or Asian, and so we are only a couple of doors away. If there's any problems or if there's anything missing or such, like if they've got a clamp missing, for example, it's not going to be as far to replace them as it might be if you're
having to ship it in or something like that.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So I'm just going to have a look at the panel fixing here just to show everybody that is able to watch this. So it looks like that's got a little rebate there, and then this comes in, and then your hooks clips onto that. That's really good. And so one thing that I have seen that is quite interesting is that offering over there.
Yes,
with the. Should we have a quick
look
at that?
Let's go and have a look around. So this is our X-anchor system. Foundation, sorry. So it comprises of a body and then 4 steel rods that are driven in on either side.
Okay.
So people prefer or tend to like this product because you don't need the use of any heavy machinery, so it's only a hand machine that's required.
Yeah.
So what you would do is you put the body into place, then you sort of put the rods in the right angle, and then you only need an STS Max drill to be able to drive them in.
Yeah, okay, so you're basically just effectively hammering those in at all different angles to allow it to grip to the ground,
Yeah.
so it's not ripping up from that point, and
Exactly.
that removes the need for a piling tool or anything like that.
Well, this is it, because I mean, a lot of sites now, people want, like as you said earlier, like just 24 panels in their back garden,
Yeah.
for example, and you don't want a piling rig, or you might not want concrete because of the aesthetic. So this is a really good alternative, and it only embeds into the ground 500 to 600 mil.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not as deep as, say, a pile.
Yeah.
We also built this very much in the mind of landfill sites, for example,
Oh,
where
yeah,
you've
that's
got
that, yeah,
the
of
membrane,
course.
which is a metre, below ground. So this is also a really good alternative for that.
Yeah, so you're not going into that where you've maybe got some toxic gases and explosive gases on the landfill side of things. You're gripping the ground enough to do that. So does Solarport kind of provide like a design as to how many of these would be needed to, I suppose that's probably part of the design service that you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So the customer will provide us with a layout. So our system is anywhere from 4 panels, as you see over there, up to 30 wide.
Okay.
So up to 60 panels altogether.
Yeah.
And then from that we provide you with the layout and the pole location and everything.
Right. That's great. So finally then, before I let you go back to everyone here, because it's a busy stand, whereabouts, how do people get sort of in touch with you guys, and where do you buy these from? Do you buy it direct? Do you buy it through wholesale?
Yeah. So we can do everything direct to utility scale as well, and we also have worked with 2 distributors. So we work with Seagen and Midsummer.
Okay.
And we are actually based. So our head office is in Dorset, and our factory is in Somerset.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
So like you
very,
mentioned,
very
it's all
local.
Local made. Yeah. That's really good. Thank you very much for your time. That's
problem.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you.
So we're at Solar and Storage, and I am over at Star Chargers, and I'm here with Jamie, who's going to take us through the range of products that these guys have to offer. Before we get into having a look through all this, how are you doing, Jamie?
Very good, actually. Thank you, Mark. It's been a very good exhibition for us. Legs are a little bit sore today. I think that's just a credit to all the customers that have been visiting us.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done a couple of these shows myself, and it is a bit draining, stood up chatting away, but it's great as well, isn't it? Interaction with the core people you're trying to sell this stuff to.
Absolutely. I think it's nice to see sort of what other people are doing and sort of the way that the industry is going, and what direction we're going to be moving into, and sort of what we need to do as a business to sort of look at sort of different designs of products, different technology. I think it's very interesting for us to see here.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And Jamie and the team are going to come on the podcast with us as well soon, where we're going to delve into this in a bit more detail. But we're going to have a run through the whole range that these guys have at the show. Jamie's going to take us through it, and we'll see exactly what it is you've got to offer. Starting with this absolute beast here. Just look at this. So this is Star Charge, what looks like a huge battery storage system. Is that the right assumption?
It is, yeah. So this is our e-box. So this is the 215 kilowatt sort of commercial battery. It's got 100 kilowatt output. This is to try and support more of the infrastructure for the EV charging. I know that everyone wants, DC fast charging and faster charging times. I think with our infrastructure at the moment, I think we need to start supporting it more with larger batteries. I think this does exactly that.
You are absolutely spot on there. I mean, the grid of things is not able to roll out what we need in terms of PV and EV for the whole UK, and there has to be elements of this, supporting the towns and cities out there, isn't it? What's the kind of spec are we looking at this then, Jamie? I'll just spin the camera around to have a little look on there, but you can see we've got quite a range, isn't it? Wow, 200 kilowatt hours.
So this is all-in-one. So this will be 215 kilowatts, and it gives you a 100 kilowatt output on this, and this is actually stackable. So this will go up to 1 to 5 megawatts. So you can have these in parallel.
So this is very much pitched towards these big public charging.
It's the
EV
bigger,
networks.
yeah. This is to try and help support the bigger charging networks. Of course, it's I know everyone wants these faster charging times, as I said, and I think the only way that we can support the grid is by having batteries like this.
Yeah. So if you have a row of maybe 10 300 kilowatt chargers, for want of a better example, having a good bank of batteries there alongside them is a no-brainer, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely essential, I think, because the more and more of these DC chargers we have, the more our grid, it's getting a little bit tight for allowing more output, So
yeah, I mean, we see that on our small residential solar systems where we're having some G99s pushed back by the DNOs because they can't take that extra demand on their connections.
Yeah.
There's definitely a need for this. I like it as well. It looks proper decent, and you can see on the top there we've got the fixings, so these just drop straight into site. There's no need for any kind of booling them around on a sack barrow. They're a little bit beyond that, aren't they?
So a little bit too heavy. They're more than a 2-man lift for sure.
That's definitely, even I could pick that one up. But you've also got a range of equipment that's kind of more regular to us as electricians. Looking at this here, this is an absolute beautiful product, I've got to say.
Yeah, so we've got a fantastic range of sort of semi-commercial, commercial and domestic EV chargers. So starting with this is our Saturn. This is our dual 22 kilowatt sort of socket charger. This has been very, very popular because this will actually give you 22 kilowatts per socket, and it also comes with sort of the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 4G. It's also got space on the bottom of our pole for our payment terminal, so it'll be either the Pater Apollo or the P66. This is sort of for your semi sort of commercial sort of parking lot environments.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a few of these in our local town actually, where there's just an industrial car park with a little cafe on there. We've got a row of 22 kilowatt chargers and a payment kiosk. The principle, I like that it is untethered as well. So there, see there on the side, we've got the different outputs there. On this side, all metered, QR codes to scan, and it just looks really nice. I've got to say, there's lots of options in the EV charging space that are out there on the market, but this, it really does look the business.
We try to keep it as sort of smart and aesthetically pleasing as possible. I know, trying to keep a charger to match everyone's sort of surrounding is difficult because of different buildings of different colours and shapes and sizes. We try to keep it as neutral as possible.
Yeah, and you will have seen us installing this earlier on in this video as well. So we've got this on the Academy that we've kindly been provided with by Star Charge. So thank you very much for that one. And if you want to see a technical run through on that, press rewind because you can have a look there. Now this one here, the Artemis 7 kilowatt, this is another different tweak on design. So all these things look nice but different.
Absolutely. I think we've seen a lot of the sort of tethered chargers here in the UK. A lot of the cables are just sort of wrapped around the wall, looking a little bit untidy. So what we've aimed to do is to try and keep things as tidy as possible. So for us, this is the Artemis. It's probably the most feature-rich, affordable charger here in the UK market. The beauty of this is it comes with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 4G. You get 2 RFID cards in the box, and it's also got a very user-friendly QR codes on the front for the installer app and also for the home user app as well. The beauty with this device is the actual cable sits in the recess, which is on the top and at the bottom, just so it hides a little bit of the cable so it looks a bit tidier outside someone's property.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks really nice, and it's great that you've thought about that design and tidying up the cables, because that's the big challenge we have as installers. You often get left with these little ports you screw into the wall for the charger to be held into. You've got that built into the product, and the lead ties away around it. And I can see on here as well, you've got lots of the protective measured in there as well that are needed. So we've got our pen fault protection on the product as well. We've got under voltage, over voltage, RCDs, over temperature. So there's lots of checks that this product's doing built into it. So absolutely fantastic. I think that is that's a solid option for anyone who's looking for a charge point on a domestic property. Just looks nice. Moving along the range, we've got an exciting area here that looks different to EV charging.
Yeah, so for us, it's not just about the EV or the battery storage. I think for us, we're trying to create and offer an ecosystem for the customer and for the end user. So as we said about the DC charging and the higher power chargers, let's try and support that infrastructure a little bit more. So what we have here is our ecosystem for the residential energy storage. So if we have a little look at the camera here, so we've got the MID, which is basically our microgrid interconnection device. So this basically allows a connection between the grid and the appliances, the EV charger, and also the battery storage. So this just helps you direct where you're going to be sending any of your excess energy, whether you want it to be the grid or back into your charger.
So that's like the brains of the system then, isn't it? That's what everyone's looking towards now. So, as time's moving along, we're moving away from bigger batteries and bigger inverters, and it's all about how these things integrate together. So it's good to see you guys are thinking about that in that product. And it looks really nice as well.
We try to keep it, as I said, neutral, try to keep everything looking as aesthetic as possible. And it's the same with our other products here. So we've got the Vesta, the hybrid inverter. So this will actually sit in sort of connected with our V-Box, which is our 7 kilowatt battery storage system. And then on the top right hand side here, we've got our ARC, which is our smart 7, 11 or 22 kilowatt charger. So this is an integrated system that it will all talk to each other to give the home user full access to the power that they're generating, and they can use it with their EV charger, especially when you've got different tariffs. I think you're able to use the energy in a better way.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big challenge we have as installers, is trying to allow consumers to control where their energy is going. So there's some consumers who will store their battery power up, for example, and they don't want to then pass it to their electric vehicle. They want to keep it for the house loads. And there's other customers that we have who are absolutely wanting to do that. So it's great that you've got that choice in the range of products. And I like the look of this here, the charging battery modules. They look the business. So there's a nice finish on there. Stackable as well, so you can kind of expand this as a consumer's demand might grow because you might see the addition of a heat pump, for example. So it's not a whole new product that needs to go on. You can just increase the stack size.
Absolutely. We've also got another version of the V-Box, which is called the V-Lite. This product is very special to us because this is a DC coupled battery. So this will sit as a retrofit solution in an old solar PV installation. So if you've got any old inverters in there and an old 4 kilowatt system, this battery will just literally drop straight in and it will work an absolute treat.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. And I like the look of that charge point up there as well. Again, just to take you in close, you can see that we've got the port on the side there for popping your lead in. It just looks nice. I mean, lots of these products are going on people's walls on shirt at the front of a driveway, for example. So, you know, these things do need to look the business, and I think you've nailed it there, to be honest. That is a really nice looking product, the charger up there. Does it come in other colours than black, or is the black the only option presently?
At the moment, the black is the only option. I mean, if there is a demand, of course, we'll try to meet what the customer needs. If you want it in blue or red, I'm sure that the guys at the factory will try and do our best.
Yeah, it's amazing what customers will start to ask for, which is why I've asked, because I know the questions will come about white and different colours. As people are probably rendered and things, so we have those requests as installers, and I'm sure you'll get the same as this product becomes more popular.
Of course, and that's why we try to keep things as neutral as possible. But I think as the demand changes for different properties, and everyone has different tastes and desires, and I think that's what we have to try.
It's really hard for you guys as manufacturers.
We can't, unfortunately, please everybody. As much as we can try, there's always a limit.
I know. I mean, you've got quite a range here, just looking back. And again, one side there, we've got the massive battery storage system. And as we span around to this side, this is what it's kind of aimed at tying in with, isn't it, Jamie, I think?
This is exactly it. So, we try to be sort of a forward-thinking company. So this is our sort of 720 kilowatt charging system. So this is just one of the dispensers. What you'll have is a 720 kilowatt or a 360 kilowatt power cabinet. They will actually power up to 6 of these dispensers. Now these dispensers they'll give you 500 amps on each gun. It's got a halo on the top for lighting, and it's also got an integrated payment terminal as well.
Yeah, I'm actually familiar with these. I've seen them in my local town, and I thought they look really, really nice. It's good that you've considered lighting, because as an EV driver, one of the things that frustrates me is a lot of the charge points don't have any lighting put up around them. So it's really good that you've put that in the product, because now there's no option for somebody to emit it. It's just there, isn't it?
Exactly that, and I think that's come from a lot of the guys here in our business at StarCharge. We actually own EVs, so we have a real hands-on feel of what it's like to be out there trying to charge your car late at night, or if it's in bad weather. We know how difficult sometimes it is to sort of see what you're doing and where things are. So we try to incorporate what we feel is our sort of pain points and trying to make them much better for the future.
Yeah, and it looks really nice again. You can see the quality written through all of these products. The whole range, this just looks premium, I've got to say. It just looks really nice. I mean, the chargers that are out there on the market as you drive up and down the motorway do not look as good as that, so you've absolutely nailed it. It's been really good to run through these products with you, Jamie.
Thank you very
I've
much.
properly enjoyed it. Thanks for giving us the time to run through that.
No problem at
And
all.
as I say, we are going to do an episode on the Renewables podcast with Jamie and possibly his colleague if he's brave enough, and we'll have a chat through things in a bit more detail over on there. Otherwise, let's jump back to the studio.
So walking around, one thing that's different to other shows has been the fact that so many companies are starting to display optimizers and micro-inverters and kind of DC safe stuff, which might just be because I'm more highlighted to it because of some of the jobs that we've done as an installations company, but I feel like, I'm just walking past another one now, some more micro-inverters, just feel like the times are shifting towards that. I might be biased, but I feel like that's where things are going, to try and isolate that DC up on the roof, which I've rabbited on about for a while, but I feel like is a massive thing that is coming through fire safety and everything. But yeah, that's been one of the things I've noticed walking around here today. Hi everybody, right, we've ventured over to the Napit stand and I'm joined by
Andrew Duffin, Technical Commercial Engineer for Napit.
Great stuff. We've had Napit and Napit, we've been arguing about this, but yeah, we're going to agree to disagree on this one.
That's fine.
Yeah, so how's the show been for Napit?
It's been really busy. So I can't believe how big the show is. I think it grows every year. It's scary, the footfall here, really is. really positive for us. Lots of inquiries about solar courses and the battery courses, which is really positive. A few technical questions on the rig that's just behind us as well. We've also got our new solar publication book out, which has just sold out in the last hour. But don't worry, there are more copies coming, so we'll have plenty of copies tomorrow. But you can also get it online as well.
Yeah, well, by the time this goes out, online will probably be the best one to go on. And yeah, I've had a small part to do with that book, and it's what I like about that book is it's kind of like a lot as electricians we're used to the on-site guide, which kind of goes, we know there's a big regulation book, but here's all that information kind of a bit more condensed.
Yeah, it's in a language for what we call for the installers.
Yeah.
So it puts it in a bit more of a simpler terms. It's still technical, don't get me wrong, but it's just more for the heart of the installer to understand what the pros and cons are and how you about those things to do.
Yeah, that's it. You're trying to just find that information quickly.
Yeah.
If there's more in-depth information you need, then you can obviously consult the other books. But that first-hand information that you need is there and is in that book, and you can have it in the van and it not really take up too much space.
I'd advise anyone that's looking to install solar panels or go into the renewable market, think about that. And especially if you're going on the courses, that book is a handy guide to use on your course as well. You can't take it into the exams, obviously, but it is a good study book for you as well. Handy to keep in the van.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. Well, I'll just spin the camera around and we'll have a quick look at this rig behind us. So then, you've got this technical rig here. What's the purpose of this rig? What you're showing people here?
So this rig is what you'd come on a Napit training course.
Okay.
So if you're doing a solar battery course, this is the rig that you'd be working on, doing your assessment on, and just getting a general understanding of how to install a PV solar system with battery as well.
Yeah. Okay. So for anyone that's just listening to this, again, I'll try and do my best to explain it. But we've got basically a mock intake here on the left.
And know that that's so we can energise. A lot of questions over that. So it's a training rig. So that's so we can energise it.
So we've got a commando plug there for so they can actually energise it. But yeah, we've got a makeshift single phase incomer there with a meter and an isolator into double pole Henley block or link block, whatever you want to call it. And then we've got two distribution boards up here, haven't we then?
Yeah.
So what have we got in here?
So this one would be for the PV solar supply.
Oh yeah, so we've got a little Hager board there with a solar supply there, and then this one?
And this one would be for your general circuits in your house.
Okay, yeah, so we've basically got a house DB and then we've got a renewables DB.
Exactly, or it could be remote location as well.
Yeah. So
you may not split the tails on that one, but it could be in a garage for argument's sake.
Yeah, no, that's great. Okay. So then out of that house one, we've got some sockets, lights, all that kind of stuff. And then
we'll talk about the essential supplies here as well that we've got that's coming off here, essentially. Again, it's a training rig, so you've got to look at it that this may be inside the house and this might be in wherever the inverter location is.
In the garage or somewhere like that.
This is our AC isolator, and obviously we've got an AC isolator close to the inverter as well.
Yeah.
We've also got a DC isolator as well.
Oh, yeah.
Even though we've got one on the inverter itself.
Oh, you're touching on a hot topic there.
I know, but Napit stance is that even though you've got one on the inverter, you can't rely on that.
Yeah.
So we also fit one remotely as well.
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion to have that extra DC isolator, just because if the PV string's coming into there, a string coming into there, if we want to work on those DC cables into the inverter, because these inverters don't last forever, we want to kill these cables and not have any voltage on these cables into the inverter. So having that external DC isolator just gives you that option to easily do that.
I think the hot topic was there is there's a lot of insulation failures there. And it could be the methods of use, maybe the brands on there as well.
Yeah.
Also, it's a good idea to ferrule your connections. It's just good practices, really. That's why we see a lot of issues with those, with potential fires, etc.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's almost like an extreme reaction to something that does happen, but it's, in my experience, the ones I've seen that have burnt out, it's usually due to misinstallation through the isolator not being big enough potentially, and also not using bootless ferrules and lots of other things like that. So to break this down again, so we've got the solar PV board there into an AC isolator, along through a generation meter, all on a piece of trunking, over to another AC isolator, because that might be remote in a garage or something, out of there into the inverter, and then on the DC side we've got a DC isolator,
and we've also got our DC surge protection as well.
Oh yeah, so we've got a DC surge protection there as well, which sometimes is built into the inverter, sometimes is not.
Yeah, correct.
And then out of there it comes round and into the inverter there as well. Yeah. So I can see there's a battery on this as well.
Yeah, so we've got obviously a battery supply for the inverter
Yeah.
as well. We've also got, just down here, we've got our battery circuit breaker, again another point of isolation, because most of these batteries will have an on-off switch or some kind of isolation as well.
Yeah.
So again, we recommend that you put one of those in for isolation purposes.
Yeah. Okay, and so this is the sort of thing that if they went onto the Napit kind of training course, this is the sort of rig that they would see.
Yeah, this is what you'd be working on as well. Yeah. So we also sell them as well to training providers. So you may see them at other training providers as well, and at local colleges that they get them as well.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. And Steve there's flicking the V to us there.
Hey, hang on, Steve. Come on.
Come on.
You want the limelight, Steve?
You want to be in here.
He's getting jealous, basically. Come on. Steve.
What am I doing? What are we doing?
You're going to have a chat.
Hello.
Look, you might remember Steve was one of our first podcasts, wasn't it? I think it was like first or second or something like that. Yeah. So what's your, for everyone that's not seen that episode, obviously you can go back and have a look, but what's your role in Napit or Napit, whichever one you want to call it?
Come on, get it right, Sam. You're a member
Napit.
as well.
It's Napit, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's how it's spelled.
So my role is I'm technical commercial manager, and I get to do a lot of fun stuff really, Sam. I get to do webinars, I get to do presentations, I get to do judging, I get to talk to you, and I get to go on Renewables podcast, which is absolutely brilliant, by the way. Please do watch them, like Sam said. Yeah, so, and then part of that as well, the role is getting involved in standards, making sure that installations that we're seeing from our members and industry as a whole are safe. We're preaching safety all the time. A lot of the talks we do are about, we don't want this race to the bottom in our industry at the moment. We've got to make sure that, like I say, people are fitting the right kit and fitting it in a way that's competent, and they've got the qualifications to fit it as well. So promoting safety, talking to loads of different people in the industry, manufacturers, standards makers and all that as well. So it was wide and varied, and it's good fun but very tiring.
Yeah, so look at that. That's why that's at the top of his game. Look, he didn't even take a breath through that.
No.
But you've been doing some other stuff as well, haven't you, Steve, today at this show? You've been doing some judging on they've got like a solar panel installation race or something like that?
Yeah, it's the European Solar Games. So previously they did it in Germany, Belgium and the Netherlands. So it's the first one they've done in the UK. Absolutely fantastic. We judged 4 installs yesterday on 2 separate roofs. They do the hooks, they do the rails, they do the panels, micro-inverters, connect it all up. They get an hour, but it's not a race. It's about the quality of it. So there was 5 judges on the panel and we judged them. It was great. We've got the ones through to the final now, which is going to be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So that's been really good to be involved in that and just seeing the standard of the installs. Some better than others, I have to say, but some really, really good installs that were hard to judge, to be fair. And it literally came down to things like one person broke a tile. So it was really, really fun to do and be part of.
Yeah, I wasn't man enough to do it. So
next year?
I've got like a pulley arm or something. So.
Well, I heard that Mark Allison and his team are coming to do it. So
I'll let Mark do it. I won't want to embarrass him.
Bit of competition between you two, come on.
No, that's great, Steve. Thanks very much. And your book's sold out. We've just been hearing.
Book sold out, yeah, but you can still get it on Napit Direct. So Practical Guide to Solar PV. It's a fantastic publication that we want for designers as installers. So you can go online, digital and hard copies available at some price that I don't know.
Perfect.
All right.
Good value anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks
Cheers,
very much.
Sam.
Cheers. Hi everyone. So we've made our way around to another stand and I'm joined by
Tom from Klauke. I'm the key account manager for the Midlands and Ireland.
Great. Well, thanks very much, Tom, for this. We're going to have a look at some other tools that I might have to make a purchase on because I've already seen these and that's why I wanted to get these on because I didn't even know this stuff existed. So I'm going to spin the camera around now and we're going to have a little look at these tools here. Okay, so spin it around now. We're going to have a look at mainly these 2 tools just here because these are really nice units. So over to you, Tom. Let's can you give us a brief explanation of what each one of those does?
Yeah, so this is an EK50 ML, should I say. It's an electrical mechanical tool. So believe it or not, these are the same tool, but just a multi-purpose tool.
Okay.
So these dies just pop in and out using this knurled screw.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it's the same thing. I've just obviously got it set up.
Yeah, so you can show people both.
Yeah, on separate units, just so it's easier to do and a little bit quicker, which you could do in live. So this is a stripping tool and also a cutting tool.
Okay.
It's a 6mm.
Yeah.
But it can do the tool itself up to 50mm on ferrules, 25mm on uninsulated lugs, and obviously the standard red, blue, yellows, MC4, and stripping.
And so that's just a change of the dies then?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
from one tool, you've got 10 different tools.
Okay.
But we'll concentrate on the MC4, well, the 6mm stripper
Yeah.
cutter. So you've got some cutting blades in here,
Yeah.
and then you've got some stripping blades there. And then you've got a backstop here that actually controls the length of the strip.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So whoever's doing it, it's always a consistent length every single time.
Yeah.
And obviously when it cuts, it never nips any of the strands or conductors inside.
Yeah.
So I'll just cut off now so you can see. So just put it in between there and cut. So that's a nice clean cut.
Yeah.
And then we'll just strip it. So I won't go right to the backstop because it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
But I'll just go there so you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
And there you go.
Wow, yeah. So for everyone that's not watching this, that is just listening, we've basically got a little handheld tool here that has a die in it. The bottom part of the die has a cutting blade, and the top set has a stripping blade. So you can basically cut it and then strip it with the same dies in. You don't have to sort of swap them out to do that. And then on this other one, so we've now got a perfectly stripped bit of cable. So now we're looking at fitting the MC4 pin onto the cable. So that's just in another set of dies. I'll try and get a decent angle. Yeah, there we go.
So the good thing about these tools are you don't just press the trigger and it cycles. It's like an assisted ratchet crimper, so it gives you some play. So I can pinch up the terminal there, and then I can put it in, and then all I have to do is press it again. A little electric motor does the hard work.
Yeah, I think that's really important, the assisted part, because if you weren't able to just nip that, you wouldn't be able to hold that pin.
Exactly. It'd make it very difficult.
Yeah, and you just find that you were having to like try and balance it in there, and I think it would end up being too annoying for people to use. Okay. But that is really good. I'll just grab that. Just have a look.
If you just have a look at the actual quality of the crimp as well, because I know these are quite hard to do.
Yeah.
You can see that's an absolute perfect crimp.
Yeah. No, that's really good. So because that looks exactly like my handheld crimping, dies in that. And this one here is the cutting and stripping one. So the top one's the stripping one, the bottom bit is the cutting one. That's really cool. So, and you mentioned that we can actually crimp uninsulated lugs with this up to 50mm, was it?
25mm.
25mm.
Or you can do bootlace ferrules such as this.
Oh yeah.
Up to 50mm.
Okay.
All the way down, to 0.08 if you wish.
Yeah.
So it's, as I said, it's just a wide variety, diverse tool.
So when you buy one of these kits, then does it come with all the dies, or do you add the dies that you want to do?
Yeah, because there's so many dies, we can't include it into all of the kit.
Yeah.
So if you just want stripping dies, we can do that from 6mm to 35mm.
Yeah.
That can come as a kit. But normally it comes as the tool itself, red, blue, yellow dies, a charger and a case, and then you just add whatever dies. Yeah, you wish.
And so if anyone's seen this and like I am thinking now, like where do we buy this from? How do people kind of get in touch with you, or through resellers to buy this sort of stuff?
Yeah, so if you go online, you're able to find our distribution partners. But alternatively to that, you could actually contact the German office, and they will put you in touch with one of our sales guys who can come out and do a demonstration for you, and then put you in touch with your local distribution partner.
Awesome, yeah, I think I'm definitely going to be doing that, because one of the guys saw this yesterday and was like, Sam, you need to buy one of these for me.
It's a totally unique tool. There's nothing else like it.
I've never seen out like it, yeah. Awesome, isn't it? Awesome, love it. Yeah, thanks very much for that.
Okay, well, thank you.
Hi everyone, so we've got onto another stand now, and I'm joined by
Alex Tool consultant at Hamar.
So, and Hamar have some awesome tools on here. We've got rivet guns, we've got stripping tools, we've got crimpers, we've got lots of stuff, but there's one tool that I'm really interested in seeing, and that is the torque gun. We're going to hear all about that now. I'm going to spin the camera around and show you this torque gun and all the features around it. And I'll try, everyone that's just listening, I will try my best to explain what we've seen on the camera. And if you do get a chance, have a look at the YouTube video for more details. So yeah, let's go and have a look. Okay, so we've spun us around now, so we've got a few items in front of us now then, haven't we?
We do indeed. So we've got the QX system for critical torque applications, and then we've also got the RTS. RTS is a new product launched in the UK. for the non-torque critical applications. It's designed basically to speed up processes, but it also gives you a chance it definitely increases the fact that you've got a lot of repeatability. So it's designed for the high volume sort of framework within solar aspect, also within mass transit for your non-critical applications, i.e. something like very similar to a door shut hinge, something like that, where it's not essential for it to be torqued to a certain range. The QX system, on the other hand, that is there for full traceability. So as a company, we've had great success with these previously with solar aspect, but we've also had these have gone into the likes of aerospace, automotive manufacturing. The list is pretty endless, to be fair. It's been a very popular tool within the last 12 months.
Yeah. So this is really you could sort of setting this tool up to know that guys in like a factory, if it was like in the aerospace industry, basically every bolt that they put in or screw they put in is to the exact torque measurement that they want it to be, and it's tracked through the system.
With the QX system alone, you've got a couple of options. You can run it through Bluetooth, through your actual mobile phone, that I'll show you in a minute, and also you've got a controller. So for example, if you had a production line, you could literally have this sat with your manager in an office, and you'd be able to track all the data there and then, and also download it, and for audit purposes you've got that availability.
Right, okay.
The RTS, on the other hand, it connects to the same controller, believe it or not. Yeah, it connects to the same controller. You also get the option of the RTS app, well, the Smart Connect app, and then everything is available for this. I'll talk you through the tool quickly in how it would operate. So in regards to it, you need to audit the joint first to make sure you're putting the correct torque through it. Yeah. In regards to that, you find a snug fit, then you measure 180 degrees from that, and then program the tool. Okay? Right. It sounds very difficult, but when you've done it as many times as you normally would with these applications, it becomes very, very simple to get sorted. So what I'll do now, at the moment, the tool is reading preset 3. I want to change that to a preset that we have already set. So I'll go into the app. You've got 8 presets available, okay, with the tooling. So all I'm going to do is select preset 1, and then what I'm going to do is set it to active. It's then going to throw up my passcode, and as with most of my passcodes, it is very simple to remember.
What's your card number?
So you'll see now that's changed on the till. Okay.
So that so for everyone that is listening, not watching, what we've done there is we've opened up the app for this set of tools, and there's a lot of presets. There's a list of 8 presets here where we can have different torque values. So
we'll just quickly look into it in a little bit more depth. Okay?
Yeah. So we're going into one of the presets.
So if we look into it now, you can set it as counterclockwise. Yeah. You've got the reverse disable as well, full power mode, different torque and flush levels. That would be what is stipulated from your measurement you take from the joint.
Okay.
In regards to it as well, batch count, that is very useful for people doing, your framework for the solar. Normally, you've got a couple of 100 bolts that need to be done, so you can actually put the batch count number in there, so the tool will continue to do the same job for that batch count. Okay.
Right. So that preset would be there for the 100 bolts or whatever you were doing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So in regards to it as well, you've also got the flush detection display. You've got rehit detection, which I'll run through very shortly with yourselves, and a couple of other soft starts. So if I turn on the soft start, it doesn't go into it straight away.
Yeah.
It just ramps the tool up very, very slowly.
Okay.
In regards to that as well, you can do that on a time aspect. So if you wanted a soft start for a couple of seconds, you've got that availability.
Okay.
But
So can you rename these presets then? Can you rename these or does it just stay as like preset 1, preset 2?
Yeah, no, you can do. It's not something I've done because of the demo, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But you can rename them if you wanted to. It's always going to be a preset, not a preset.
Yeah.
In regards to it, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so that's really useful for us in the solar world, where we got a torque setting for the bolts on the from the rail to the clamp, and then there's a different torque setting from as to drilling down onto the onto the panel with the mid clamp and the end clamp, and just to be able to go onto your phone and just change that preset and actually have that there.
It's Bluetooth as well, so you don't need to worry about any signal aspects or anything like that. It is Bluetooth connectivity. So for example, if you're in the middle of the field, like most of the guys are,
doing a solar, it's like a ground mount or something like that.
As long as you physically got the Bluetooth connection, it's absolutely fine. I have tested it, got to about 50 yards, got bored, came back. I'll be perfectly honest for yourself. So what I'm going to quickly do now, I've already set this tool. What people listening will not see is I've set this tool to do a reverse counterclockwise first to make sure everything is seated correctly. And then it goes into applying the torque value.
Okay.
So, pardon the noise, guys. The light will show green, and then also, just as a little bit of a data, if I go to the dashboard and I go to results, that will also tell me that that was correct.
So for everyone listening there, so we've got a little bolt set up here. So all we've done there is we've put the socket over the bolt and then screwed it down. And as soon as it hit the right torque level, the light on the gun went green, and it also pinged that through onto the app that specific bolt has now been torqued to that specific torque level.
Yeah, so I've actually got this piece set at the moment. It's currently running at 22.
22 newton meters.
Yeah, I can't set it higher, but I don't want to destroy the phone up.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned there as well, we've got the re-hit detection system. I've actually got that enabled at this moment in time.
Okay.
So straight away, then goes red.
Right.
That now says to me that the tool now will show that warning. Yeah. It will go shortly. So, and then in regards to it, that is the dashboard there as well on the system. So that is all traceable. Okay, you can basically get all the data you need from it. But for example, for an operator, if I saw that, first thing I'd be doing is taking that back off and doing exactly the same process. Sometimes, depending on what sort of washer system you're running, if it's say, people run copper washers, stainless steel, nylon has been quite common with expansions and stuff like that. You might have to replace it, but alternatively, you'll already know that's been re-hit, so that now will be overtalked.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Another feature with it is when, so for example now, I'll run it through. Another feature with it is if for any reason you stop halfway through the process, the tool will fail. Okay?
Right.
So it's a kind of way of making sure that everybody follows the correct processes. But yeah, when you're doing applications, doing anything within that sector, or any sector you're working in, you've got that availability to go, actually, do you know what, that wasn't done correctly.
Yeah.
You will throw up the same warning, they'll notify you on the back of the screen.
Yeah.
And then from there. Also, one thing on the tool, I haven't got it at this moment in time, but it comes with a shell, and it also comes with a display case. Okay? These tools are designed to be used all day, every day.
Yeah.
Obviously, with that, then you want to try and protect it a little bit. So you get the plastic cover, and then also you get the screen protector. On the back of the tool as well, you can actually use everything. So just because you haven't got the cordless controller, or alternatively the app, you can still achieve everything through the back of the tool.
Right.
So in regards to it, wherever you are, you might not even have your phone with you for any reason, but yeah, you can physically do that then. So if your phone died for any reason, you're using it, at least you can still use it.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
So you got two different ones here then, haven't we? So we've got this one, the RTS, and then we've got this one here.
Yeah. So like I previously mentioned, these are for critical torque applications. Hence why some of the industries we've sold it into are. They want to be auditing every single time. We've also sold these into. That's quite loud. We've also sold these into a lot of solar already.
Right.
The reason behind that is because a lot of fitters these days are working to manufacturer specifications. So if the manufacturer is stating you have to have the torque to a certain value, and you want it fully traceable, that is the reason why we go for that tool. It operates in a very similar way. Through the controller, through the app. You've got the Bluetooth capability available on them all. we've got the pistol, maximum torque on that you will find is 24 newton meters, and then we've got the right angle tool. The right angle tool is a bit of a hefty beast. In regards to it, it can get up to 85 newton meters. There's a little bit of a kickback, but because a reaction arm runs down, it does eliminate a lot of that friction, a lot of that force.
Okay, that's good. So the different minimum torques, I think, in solar, obviously, there's a lot of it's like onto aluminium rail and stuff. It's not going to be really high torque levels. So, what's the minimum torque?
So
levels
they vary. They
Okay.
vary all over. So the maximum and minimum torque. So minimum for that RTS should be looking roughly around 80 newton meters.
Okay.
Yeah. And then obviously the QX systems they range massively.
Okay.
There's a slight overlap as well. So
Okay.
for example, we always sedate that if you're towards the high end of the lower torque value on the tool, always upgrade.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it gives you a bit more scope
Yeah.
on it. So that's what we would always say in regards to it. Realistically, there's not a great deal in price difference by doing that, but ultimately you get a lot more bang for your buck doing it that way.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Hi everybody. So we're at Genius Roof Solutions now, and we're going to have a little look at some slate flashing. So if you're a solar installer, you know the pain of fitting solar PV to a slate roof. I know that pain, my guys know that pain, and most installers here that I've spoken to know that pain. But Genius are doing some really genius solutions for that. It's almost like I'm a marketer, isn't it? So who have we got here then? Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Gemma from Genius Roof Solutions. I'm going to talk us through the products.
Yeah, it's great. So we've got a couple of things that Gemma's going to show us here today. We've got the original flashing that most of us that are doing solar PV installations will know about. But also there's a new product it's been out for a little while now, hasn't it, Gemma? But
Yeah, March. Okay.
March, yeah. So but it's trying to get that word out about how these installs are made easier and the innovation around this, because innovation around solar is just constantly developing. So for people that are just listening to this, we've got a little makeshift slate roof behind us, which is giving me palpitations because nobody really likes a slate roof. But with the Genius stuff, it does make it a lot easier. So I'm going to flip the camera around now, and we're going to time Gemma, see how fast you can. No, I'm not joking. We're not really. We're going to see a little guide on how this speed flash, and I'll show you the original flashing first, and then we'll have a look at the speed flash. So if you are listening to this, I'll try and describe this as best I can. But if you do get the opportunity, then do try and watch this on YouTube, and you'll be able to see it live in action. So yeah, let's spin around and see what we've got. Okay, so we spun the camera around now, and we can see this is the mock-up slate roof that we've got here. So we can see here that Gemma's going to just give us a little rundown over what we've got on this one here, which most will recognise.
Yep, so this is the original solar flash which we've been selling for about 12-13 years. We designed this one. This method of installation is stripping maybe one or two courses off, exposing the rafter, install your bracket, then put the flashing on, put the slates that are going to fit around the bracket, and then put the slates back in position. Yeah. So that's the original one.
Yeah, that's the original one. I've got an absolute box full of those ready for new jobs, but I'm desperate to try these new ones that you've got, Gemma. So is this one over here all set up before you have to do a little install?
That's it. I'm going to do it here. So shall I give you this?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Right. Okay. So first of all, just assume that that's still intact and it's a roof. First of all, you need to find the rafter. So, installers are telling us they're either using a stud finder, looking in the loft, looking at the fascia board, but you're identifying where the rafter is. In the scenarios where you're really struggling to find the rafter, you can always open up the roof, use the original method, and then close it again, and then do the rest of the roof in the new speed flash. So we sell these in boxes of 40, get 2 of these shields in there, and this is just to protect this coarser slates.
Yeah.
So that goes in there, and then in situ with an angle grinder, you're going to cut 75mm and 190mm. I'm going to cut that out. Like I said, this is there to protect here because you want to make sure you're protecting around that nail hole.
Okay, so just for everybody that can't see this at the minute, what Gemma's got there is it's a metal plate that is slid up underneath the slate that you're gonna cut, and it's basically protecting the course below that, so that you're still keeping that weatherproof seal on the course below, and it's basically just there to protect that area.
Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the bracket we're using, and then we're going to test to see if we need to pack it out. So I'll just grab a bracket. So say for example, K21, compatible with most of the brackets on the market.
Yeah.
So that goes in there, so it's a bit close to the roof material, so we're going to pack it out. So there we go, packing in. And then, there we go, I'm happy with that, I've got some clearance. So the next thing we're going to do is the speed flash was designed to work on 18 inch, 20 inch, 22, 24. So because these are 18 inch slates, I'm going to cut that off at 18 inch. You see I've used this one a lot, it's very, very scratched. So that just goes up there. And then the next thing we're going to do now is get the spring. Now this is marine grade, so it's not going to degrade over time. That just hooks on the slate and hooks around there. That's just meaning that speed flash can't come down.
Okay, so just to recap on that for people that aren't able to see this, so what we've got is we've tested the roof hook now in the gap that's been created where we can see the felt, and we've got the rafter just there, and we're making sure that the roof hook isn't too tight onto the slate below, so we're not going to crack it. And the one that we've tried in is a little bit too close to the slate below, so we've packed it out with a little bit of plywood, and now we're going to, once that's in place, we've then got the speed flash has been pushed up into the gap that we've created with the angle grinder, and then there's a little spring there that is hooked onto the inside of the gap, and then it's hooked around the outside of the flashing, and it's keeping that pressure upwards of the speed flash so that it's not going to slip out of place. So next step then.
Next step. Okay, so we've got our bracket again. So I just put the foam around the bracket drop, and I put that into position. And then I'm going to drill and secure that bracket to that fixing.
Yep.
And then finally, we get the cap. Now the cap's got a lip at the bottom and then 4 clasps at the top. You always start with the lip at the bottom. You pop that on and then push it down. And that's not coming anywhere.
Yeah, so that's great. So for that cap, for anyone again that's not able to see this, basically overhangs the flashing. So any water that's hitting that cap is then dropping onto the flashing that you've just installed. And also, before that cap is installed, there's a raised lip all the way on the inside of where the hook is slid up under. So any water that runs down the slate roof is going to drop onto that flashing and then continue down the roof. So there's no gaps for that water to come in. And the benefit of this then, Gemma, is really that you're not having to rip out loads of slates to get this flashing in.
Absolutely, so it's speed. The feedback we've had for years and years is our original product is great, it does the job, but it's so time consuming, not just because you're having to remove the slates, you're potentially removing slates, breaking slates, and it can just become a bit of a nightmare. So the fact that you're not having to remove any slates, there's less opportunity to mess with the roof, to come across problems, and so just much faster. Some people have said to us originally was taking them about 25 minutes and now they can do it in about 3 minutes. Much quicker.
Yeah.
The key is speed. Okay,
and so does the speed flash work with any other roofing material other than slate, or if you had sometimes we come across like a flat concrete tile that's quite thin where we can't really notch the bottom. Does the speed flash work for that, or are we going back to the normal?
Going back to the normal.
Yeah.
That's it. We've got a flat tile kit, so that's for flat concrete tiles, like you said, where they're thin and you can't notch them, and plain tiles. Speed flash is purely designed for slate. It works on natural slate, composite slate. It actually also works on a Cambrian tile. They're a bit of an obscure one, but that is something it works on as well.
So the benefit really then, obviously the speed flash, is that you're trying not to disturb a slate roof where it's a bit of a nightmare to get all the slates back in. Whereas I suppose a flat concrete roof, it's not that hard to remove a couple of tiles to fit the normal flashing.
Exactly, that's it. The double lap nature of slate, that's what makes it a harder product to work on. The way it's fitted. So yeah.
That's awesome. And where can people get this sort of kit from?
So we have got a fantastic distribution network. So wholesalers, Seagen, Green Tech, Midsummer, Rexel, you name it. I really don't want to not name everybody.
Yeah, you have to spend the next 20 minutes now.
SIG, Solartricity. So we really do have a fantastic distribution network. So wherever you get your other stuff from, you should be able to get our stuff.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks very much for that, Gemma.
Thank you.
Hi everybody, so I'm down here at DEKS now, and we're going to have a little run through a product that I've seen a lot about actually, but I'll keep that a secret. So we've got Andy here, so you're going to introduce yourself and what your role is in DEKS.
Hi, I'm Andy, I'm the Business Development Director at DEKS.
Great. Cool. So we've got a product here that I've just been speaking to you about that I'm really interested to show everybody. So what I'll do is I'll spin the camera around and we'll have a little look at this product now. Okay, so I've flipped the camera around now for everyone that is just listening to this, and we've got a few products here that we can see. So Andy's going to take us through these products and what they're all about. So let's have a look at this. It looks like some sort of mat for a hook on what looks to be a plain tile or a rosemary tile roof.
Correct. So this is the DEKS tile flash. So predominantly this is used for the rosemary tile roofs. So technically it will be a substitute for a rosemary tile where you need to put a hook for a solar system. You'll remove the existing rosemary tile and place one of our tile flashes in its place. What this will then do is protect the two tiles underneath it while you've got your bracket sat on top. And the added benefit, which is new to the industry, which we introduced last year, is the cable entry system. Which no other support, as far as we are aware of, that has a cable entry system as well. So it's a massive advantage for installers. So not can they only protect the two tiles, but they can run cables down it very nice and neatly as well to keep it all managed.
So with that then, Andy, every tile that you put this that you install here has the ability to be a cable entry point if you want to use it as that.
If you want to, but at the same time, if you just wanted to use it as a protector, a tile protector, you've got the holes at the end here, so you don't actually have to penetrate those.
Okay.
So you can leave those blocked up so it remains watertight and sealed.
Yeah. So for everybody that is just listening to this on your drive or wherever you're going, I'll try and describe this tile here. So what we've got, I can see the underside on camera at the minute, and we've got a couple of channels here where cables can be pushed down so that it's not going to press on the batten or anything else like that. And then what Andy's just shown us there is at the end of each one of these channels, there's almost like a piercing point where you can push out the cable, and if you want to use that specific tile as your cable exit or entry point, whichever way you look at it. And I've never seen anything else other than these guys doing it. And with rosemary or plain tiles, it's very, very difficult to get your cables out because you haven't got that depth to notch the tile or anything like that. So this is a really, really good solution. I've seen quite a few installers starting to use this, and it's definitely something for me on my installation business that I'm definitely going to start to look at. So yeah, and I'm assuming there's no problem with 4 and 6 mil coming out of these.
It takes up to an 8 mil cable actually.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
So we've got a little bit of flexibility there as well, so it's not so tight on the cable to bring it out.
Correct.
That's awesome. And whereabouts can people get these if they want to buy these and start using these?
So they are stocked at multiple distributors. You can get them from Greentech, SIG, CF, Seagen, Midsummer, Phase Renewables.
Great. That's a decent list then. Yeah, that's great. Yes. Was there any other points that you wanted to make on this, Andy, or is that's pretty much it, I think?
No, that's perfect. We've covered it.
Great. So thanks very much, Andy. That's great.
Thank you.
Hi everybody. Right, I've returned back to base for this show. So I'm joined by
Aaron Walstow.
And your role at Doncaster Cables is, Aaron?
One of the directors.
Very much, yeah. And you've had your progress through Doncaster Cables comes right from an early start, wasn't it? And then all the way up through the ranks.
So, I've been there 17 years and just managed to go through the business like so many other people there.
Yeah.
So family-owned business and just gone through different stages: quality management, technical manager, running the factory, and then to where I am now. But similar to a lot of people at Doncaster.
Yeah, no, it's a great company, to be fair. Every time I've come through, you can really tell it's like a family company. So we've been at Sun Storage Live, obviously. We've been showcasing PV Ultra, EV Ultra, the different variants of PV Ultra. People have been asking about Earth Show as well, haven't they? That's your new one. So how's the show been for you then, as kind of Doncaster Cables?
Apart from tiring.
Yeah.
Tiring, lots of Strepsils, voices.
Yeah, we've all been on them.
It's been great. To actually meet with the installers, that's what we're all about as a business. It's making cables for the installers, adding as much value as we can, and then to either explain that to people or to actually have them comment on how it's helped them since we introduced it to them last year. It's just been great. Yeah, it's been really good.
That's the massive difference I've found this year over last year. Last year, it was introducing the product to installers and everybody, contacts that I've had, but also just installers that have just come really to find out what is out there. installers that want to enter the industry but don't know where to start looking online. It's so nice these shows to come and get your hands on all these products, and that's with a cable. Like, people deal with cable day in, day out as an electrician. I think getting your hands on cable just really, you can feel the quality and like with PV Ultra how easy it is to strip and everything else like that. It's been really nice, but last year was really introducing that cable. This year it's been all about kind of hearing feedback about how they're using it, and we've had really good feedback from everybody, which is really positive, because I was a little bit worried that people would come back and say, "No, I don't use it." but yeah, you've had some good feedback about Earthshore and some of the other cables, haven't you, I believe?
Yeah, we've gone through EV Ultra. We're working on the cable with Tesla for the Generation 3 Teslas, the power walls. So that's been quite good. We managed to finalise some of the designs there, so that should be coming out soon. Earthshore has a great feedback. We just had a quick reel of that there as well. And to discuss the range on PV Ultra, to discuss the bigger size that we've introduced, the 10mm, and then the steel wire arm and mechanical protection as well. We've had some great conversations. It's been really good.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome, and I've really enjoyed it. So thanks very much for inviting me to come along again and be in disguise as a Doncaster Cables employee. But yeah, it's been really good to see everybody here at the show and to chat to everybody, because it's very rare that you get the chance to be in one place at one time for 3 days as well, and meet everyone face to face, because I'm sure you guys are the same. You chat to people all the time on the phone or on Instagram or all the other sort of channels, and to actually put faces to names and kind of little icons on Instagram is really nice. So hopefully we can return in a year's time or whenever it is we're next back and do it all again.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Good stuff. Thanks very much.
So I hope you've enjoyed our special 2-episode review of Solar and Storage Live, chatting to as many people as we possibly could, especially Sam. Great work again there. I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed editing these episodes together and listening to those conversations that Sam had. And if you've enjoyed it, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up alongside this episode and subscribe to the channel. If you've got any questions about anything we've discussed over the course of this episode and the prior one about solar and storage, please do drop them in below, and you can head off over to the varied manufacturers' websites to dig into some of the further information around the new products you may have heard about on these episodes. Otherwise, we're back next week with more regular podcast content, and I don't think we've got any other shows to go and visit before the end of this year, unless we're doing something from Sandown at DEKS. I don't think we will be, to be fair. So these will all be more traditional podcast episodes. But do let us know in the comments how you find these roving reporting efforts from out at the trade shows. It's a new thing for us to try and do. We really enjoy it. I enjoy speaking to people and recording those conversations to share with other people. And Sam does as well. So, if it's something you're enjoying, let us know and we can keep going with that in future releases. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next one.